welcome back. We are so excited to let you know that we have Wilson Cruz with us, amazing actor and LGBTQ activist. Hello, Wilson.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you for joining us. So we pretty much know everything about your life from birth to death. It's Halloween.
Reincarnation.
It's
You're
Halloween.
You're letting me in on a little secret tonight?
No,
Right? He like rolled some bones earlier.
It's gonna be our secret
It's
that we're not
season.
gonna let you know. So in your upbringing and in your life to become this amazing like actor who's done everything, how did you know acting was what you wanted to do, and what was your journey?
I always knew I was going to do something in the arts. I was, my mom will tell you that, coming out of the womb, I was, she knew that I was going to do something in the arts. So as a kid, I was attracted to the band world. It was the first thing that approached me, actually.
Okay.
And so I played the sax, clarinet, and flute in like elementary school.
Okay, woodwinds.
I played the flute. I played the flute.
I blow woodwinds. Go figure.
Blow some good wood.
And so I did that through elementary school and through junior high school. Wait, what did I miss there?
No.
I said you blew some good wood, I heard.
I did. I had.
Just please don't pay attention.
I'm a 47-year-old gay man. Wood has been blown.
I love it.
But so I did that through junior high school, and then into high school, I was like, part of the orchestra and the marching band. And in my public school, the entire arts department was all in one building because it was a public school. Our theater wasn't even a theater; it was a converted classroom. I'm not kidding. That was like a black box. Anyway, so I was in the band. The choir needed boys, as they always do, and so
always.
So the choir director came over and was like, "Hey, would you be interested in being in the show choir?" And I was like, "What is that?" And they said, we sing and dance. I said, "Okay, where do I sign up for that?" And so I signed up for that. And it was an amazing experience. I learned a lot about, what the commitment level that performance takes. I learned a lot of discipline. I became a performer in that class, and then the theater director saw me in one of the show choir performances and asked me if I wanted to be in the play, and so I went into the play, and then I just fell in love, and so I was obsessed with the theater. From then on, and I was a theater major in college, along with English, and that's how it happened. And by my first year of, well, that's not true. When I was 16, I took a commercial acting class, and so I got an agent through there, and then I didn't get a job until I was 18, and then I was 19. First year, I was just finishing I was in the middle of my second year of college when I went to go do my so-called life. That's how.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that's a perfect segue into my question. Like, first of all, I used to watch that show when it was on the N.
Noggin.
Back in the day, they used to re-air it.
Wow.
And I was so just moved by your portrayal of Ricky Vasquez. And did you realize the significance of that character when you were playing him? Did you realize that years later people were going to look back and say like, wow? And you worked with Claire Danes back then. It was so amazing.
I just talked to her the other day.
Is there another season of The Politician?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Question.
What was the question? I forgot what the question was.
Yeah,
did I
realize
know?
the significance of
I did know. I think we all knew because, it was the first time that we had a character like that on television. But the real reason why I knew was because I had looked for that character for myself. I wanted to see that person on TV. Mm-hmm. I felt invisible all the way through my youth. There were no Latinos on TV. Mm-hmm. there were barely anybody who was mixed looking.
Right.
Clearly there was no gay people, so, not even, like, I didn't even feel represented in terms of class, the only brown people I saw that I knew on TV were either rich white brown people like the Cosbys, or were being adopted by rich white people like Different Strokes. That was
right. Those are your choices.
Right. Or, lucky enough to move to Bel Air. So to me, when I read that script for the first time, it washed over me that I was being given the opportunity to be the person that I needed, and to do that for someone else. And so, it would be a lie to say that I wasn't aware. And I went into it knowing that responsibility, and making life choices that would support it.
Well, I think it's almost time for like a college, high school, some kind of reunion of the show. Would you be open to go back and doing that?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I've said that a million times.
And has there been talks of it? And can you let us know?
I mean, there have been discussions since we were canceled.
Yeah.
But
after one season, cut.
Unfortunately, nobody listens to me when the conversation comes up, because I've tried to make it happen a few times.
I would like to tell you, but
it's only going to happen if we all do it. If one person says no, which there has been one, it's just, we're not going to do it. We're either
who's Victoria Beckham? Who's the Victoria Beckham of My So-Called Life that says, no, I'm not going back? No, you don't have to answer. But if you want to, that's all fine.
I'm not saying it's one person. I'm saying it's 3 years. It's been one person and then another person. And I'm not saying I'm not.
Yeah.
I would like to say that I did get lunch detention because of you, because I thought I could go into the let me tell you why. Because I thought I could go into the girls' bathroom too and just hang out like Ricky, and they told me to get out of there, and I was just like, and they was like, lunch detention. I was like, great. So then I had to go to lunch detention. I didn't get like mustard on my burger, the whole thing, but thank you for that, because
I mean, at least
at least I would say, I remember you were one of the first people I saw on television who wore guy liner.
Yes.
And I remember I was going through my emo phase, and I was like, I'm gonna wear guy liner too. And so I had the eyeliner, the little little plastic bracelets.
Oh, I bet it looks good on you too, because it looks good. A little eyeliner on a darker guy looks good.
So that's probably how y'all met, because he probably wrote to the fan club and said thank you.
I was the president.
Right.
President.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So Wilson, as you became like this sort of known LGBTQ character, you obviously are well known these days for playing Dr. Hugh Culber on Star Trek Discovery. How has that, are you happy being that person?
Were you a fan of the show before?
Yeah, I mean, I was a big Next Gen guy. Growing up, that was my Star Trek. I was the right age for it. And then that kind of introduced me to the world, and I went back and watched the original. But it was in syndication when I was a kid. It was ubiquitous. It was everywhere.
Right.
So, but do I love this character? I think this character is more personal to me than any other character aside from Ricky Vasquez that I've played since. There's so much of his story that that has inspired so much for me, right? And the thing about Hugh, Dr. Culber, is that I'm learning from him, right? He, because the show takes place in 3188.
I can't wait to get there.
Well, this is my point, right? Like, my job is to imagine what a person like me would be like in a time and a place that was free from the caste, free from racism, free from homophobia, free from, all of the isms that we have used in our society to hold people back. So my job as Dr. Culber is to say, who could I be if I was allowed to live up to my potential?
Yeah.
And the practice and the mining of what that would be has changed me on a molecular level, because now I think to myself, well, why can't I have that today? Why can't I walk down the street unafraid and proud of who I am and what I am, right?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I expect society to match me there, to meet me in that place where they see me and appreciate me for my humanity and for my potential, and is invested in the success of people like me and you, because of what we build, the world we create when we do that.
Amen.
That is what Hugh Culber has done for me.
So using the wisdom of Dr. Culber and playing devil's advocate and pulling us out and being a little bit existentialist.
Please.
They say history repeats itself. So would Dr. Culber say in reality that history is going to repeat itself in 3188?
You mean like repeat itself in terms of what?
In the shit that we're in now.
Well, I'll say this. Just because those isms don't exist doesn't mean that there aren't other things that are challenging to the human spirit and to the human experience.
Right.
You know, we still have egos. We are still imperfect. You know, we still have our biases, whatever those may be, right? That we assume about people, because that's how we walk through the world. You know, as human beings, we see someone or something and we break it up. We break it down in our own minds into expectations of what we want and need from that person. So, you know, there is just the experience of being human that's challenging. So we're going to see these challenges and we're going to repeat them, because that is the human experience, right? That
human nature.
The interaction between one or more people is still going to cause either friction or delight.
Yeah.
Depending on those personalities. So, you know, the thing, and to think about your question even further, the answer to your question is in our history, right? So there are some things that we will always deal with: jealousy, rage, anger, love. So yeah, history will repeat itself. Let's hope that we continue to learn lessons from them, and that we have we solve these problems faster as time progresses.
Well, speaking of anger and rage, really quickly, to talk about something that a lot of people felt when your character was killed off. The LGBT community freaked out. They were like, okay, so you killed off an LGBT person of color. And this has been happening a lot in television lately, where the person who is LGBT is killed off. And it's like, whether it's Candy from Pose or whether it's Tara from Walking Dead, people are just upset. They're like, so why are you killing a person that is a minority off of a show that's mainly a white-led cast? Do you feel like the outcry from the LGBTQ community helped bring that character back?
It didn't hurt.
Yeah.
You know, the ways that I have been lifted up by the LGBTQ community for 27 years is something that if I allow myself to think about too long will overwhelm me.
You can cry, it's okay.
So yeah, of course it helped. So of course it helped. But I will say this, that well, now I can talk about this because I haven't really been able to talk about it in the way that I can now. This arc of this character is really personal because we're talking about a person who gets a second chance at life. And that's really what his whole storyline is.
Yeah.
He had a great life. He had this partner. He was a doctor. He's on a spaceship. But he was not the center of his life. And he was in service of his partner and other people. And he goes through this traumatic experience and in the process realizes that he didn't live up to his potential. And when given a second chance, he says, okay, now I'm going to live and love to the extreme, to the point, to the potential that I was brought on the earth to be. And that only happened because he was given a second chance. So my point to you is that, yes, it was very controversial when it happened, but it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
In my mind, the metaphor is, it's deep, y'all.
Let's go there.
For me, in playing it, I thought of my friends who have been living with HIV and AIDS for decades. Many of which, when they were first diagnosed, was at a time when it was literally a death sentence.
Yeah.
And so they were, pretty sure that they were going to die, right? And then the drugs came. And when the drugs came, the cocktail came, they were given a second lease at life. Yeah. And many of them told me, a few of them told me how in that moment when they realized that they were going to be able to live, that in that moment they had to decide what they were going to hold on to and what they were going to let go. And so Hugh's journey, that whole second season, was about getting the news that you were going to get a second chance at life and trying to decide what you were going to hold on to and what you were going to let go. And how you're going to be your fullest self now because you've been given a second lease on life. So I understand the controversy about a character being killed off, but when there's that kind of payoff and that kind of arc, and you look at where he started and who he is now, that is an actor's dream. And of course, you can't tell people that because you want them to go on the journey with you.
Well, it shows. Right. It shows.
And I think it's very important though. Like now that you have the second lease on life, I always think it's like you got to let go.
And now the best part about it is that he's using the fact that this traumatic experience happened to him to better understand the traumas that his crew members are dealing with sometimes on a daily basis. And he now can help them navigate through that trauma.
Yeah. Wow.
That sounds like my early 20s. I learned a lot of lessons and now I'm like, oh, okay. And it just helps me in the future.
Well, you still haven't learned them, but
I've learned a few. And I learned from my past mistakes. Yes,
listen, you can't live in New York and not be learning some hard lessons.
It's true.
Adam, just to know, Wilson, Adam, Braden, and I have grown up for 15 years together. This is what we do. So I just kind of look at them sometimes and just say, no, that's them.
So we hate each other, but this podcast anchors our relationship together.
I love them, but I don't like them.
And then
that's
after
not
that,
hate, that's love.
I did.
That
right. I love y'all. But speaking of my early 20s and
Yes.
you know, characters that were killed off, what was it like on the set of Party Monster?
Oh,
Because that's one of my favorite movies.
I mean, well, first of all, I was when when we made that movie. I was broke. And
I hear you.
it was an indie film, and I you know, I have an actor's life. I go, you know, there's valleys and peaks, and it was a really rough valley because it was during the writer's strike. So there was like no work.
Remember that.
Potential for work. So anyway, so the set of that was like day one, I had to go to the producer because we were shooting in New York and I was living in LA and I had to get myself there and I was putting myself up and it was whole thing. It was an indie film. And I was like, I need you to advance me some cash because I don't have enough money for the cab home.
Oh no.
Word.
So, so that was
What a
that.
P card.
But the set was amazing. Like, you know, there's just star-studded, right?
Right.
But these costumes were unbelievable, but they would literally fall apart on you.
Oh no.
Some of them melted on you. So,
what?
I mean, yes, it was ridiculous. And then I had those wings.
The wings, yeah.
Yeah, and his wings, my wings, were like 3 times larger than the wings he actually wore.
Oh my god!
Wow.
And they didn't know how to put them on me, so they had them on this like a harness, and they forgot to put like you know, something to around the metal of the harness so that it wouldn't cut into my back.
Oh
which
my
it
god!
did.
Oh.
Yeah. But it was so much fun. You know what I mean? It was just a blast. And I became really good friends with Wilmer at that point. And
yeah,
he's the one that I kept in the most touch with. But we had a blast.
I love to hear that.
Aww.
Yeah.
I want to talk about who I love that you played, which is Angel in Rent. Because I'm a singer myself.
A second Angel.
Another Angel. All of your characters like kind of connect.
It's a theme. It's a theme.
Yes.
I love that.
Aww. So would you, pending that the country opens back up and Broadway opens back up, would you want to go back on Broadway?
In a hot minute. I would go back in a hot minute.
Yeah.
In the right part.
Right.
At the right time when I'm available. Because right now, you know, I'm in space and they kind of own me. So and we're here. Like, I don't even know how long this season's gonna take to shoot because it's the first time that we're doing it like this. So it could take a full year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's up in the air.
So the answer to your question is, of course, I mean, I would do it. It's my first love and I would be there in a hot minute if I could.
Yeah. Hopefully
I'm
that'll
dying to sing again. I haven't sung in forever. So I'm ready to go back to do that.
You have to do that. That eats away at you. Like,
I mean, I sit here in my apartment, but nobody
right.
Give us a little ditty. No, I won't put you on the spot. I won't put you on the spot.
Ray's also a singer, Ashton's a singer. They can harmonize with
right.
me.
I played Joanne in Rent.
You did?
Yeah.
And where?
In San Antonio, Texas. Nothing that crazy, but you know.
Don't dismiss it like that. You played
Joanne. Listen, that was Joanne was my dream role, and so I'm still very proud to have played that character.
Yes. I love that show.
It's the best.
I have one question. Yes.
Yeah.
So you played Angel, and now I have a. What was your opinion of Valentina as Angel in this new remake that they did?
Well, I just didn't think it was fair for them to play that that rehearsal. Because it was a dress rehearsal, it was a camera rehearsal.
Yeah.
And when you're doing a live show, in the dress rehearsal, you know, you're not gonna give everything you have because you have a live performance coming and you don't want to say la voce.
Exactly.
I'm not going to judge anybody and first of all, I'm not going to judge anybody. A, and B, I'm definitely not going to judge them off of a recording of a rehearsal.
Thank you. Yes, I felt the same way because she got a lot of hate for that, and I mean, I kind of understand why. But
yeah, I don't know what her her level of experience was, but like from what I understand, is not a lot, and that is a lot to ask of someone to do live, especially. You know what I mean? So
100%.
I'm like, she did it.
She did that. What she did was collect the check, is what she did.
Right. Okay. And good for her.
Right. and it's great because it was representation. Like,
yes.
All these little brown boys and girls are looking up and they're like,
well, Adam loves Valentina.
Well,
he's only saying this because he know we don't.
That's not the point.
No, we do. Listen.
I love Valentina.
Yeah.
We like her. She should have definitely taken her mask off.
She was ahead of the curve. She was ahead. She knew.
I'd like to keep it on.
That's not where the mask goes.
There was a pandemic coming.
She must have known.
She knew there was COVID-19 out there, and she wanted to be safe and set the precedent.
Exactly.
So I'm all about Team Valentina.
So Wilson, it's spooky season. Are you into like horror movies and all of that genre, or is it not your thing?
It's not, but I do like a psychological thriller.
Okay. So I was going to ask you what your favorite scary movie is.
Like
that includes thrillers and suspense.
Yeah, I don't enjoy gore. Like when it gets gory, I'm not into it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what was the Fatal Attraction?
Oh,
yeah. I will
That's a
not
good one.
be ignored, Dan.
Right. Or what? And this is another one that. What's it called? But it's not the same. It's along the same vein. Which is the one?
One of the stalker movies. Like Swim Tan.
It's Diane Lane, Richard Gere.
Oh.
White Ollie? No.
Where he kills him with the.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Olivier Martinez, I think is that his name? I don't know.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Hold on.
Our producers are looking it up right now.
We're looking it up right now because it's gonna bug me.
Yeah.
It's not Cheated or.
No, they're at the beach.
It's like the not the affair. Unfaithful.
They're not
the affair.
They're not.
It's not. But that had me like on the edge, and she is spectacular in that movie. When she's on the train or is it the bus, and she just cheated for the first time with him, and she's on that train and she's like crying and horny and happy all at the same time.
Yes,
girl.
I've definitely rode the M5 just like that.
I also like. Okay.
So from Morningside Heights to Washington Heights.
No, at least take care of yourself before you get on.
He wrote 10 minutes in tears. What Lies Beneath is also like one of my favorites. And then Identity, of course. Identity is the fave.
You should watch that one.
It's on Showtime? Cinemax.
Identity.
Yeah,
Identity. Cinemax. Yeah, watch that.
Cinemax.
Okay, so Wilson, GQ just featured you and your diet. And why are you shaking your head? Don't act like you didn't pitch yourself for this article. GQ.
I didn't pitch myself.
Just kidding.
Right, so I don't have to do that.
So your diet and workout regimen. Can you
tell us how to get like you, because it ain't working.
I got this quarantine weight and it ain't no joke.
You work out before you start working out.
See, I'm not appreciating how they put that, because here's the thing. What I said to her, what I was trying to communicate to her was, because I'm 47, I can't just pick up the weights and be like, and I have to put the spine back together in the morning.
You gotta warm up.
I literally feel like I have to adjust each vertebrae into place.
100.
I do some yoga in order to, work on my flexibility and to warm up my body before I pick up weights, because that's how you injure yourself if you don't. So
right.
And so I incorporate a core workout into that. So I was trying to say that I did that before I picked up weights, but yeah. So if that's considered a workout before, sure.
Okay, so how long is the workout for the workout?
The workout is
the
like
workout?
an hour. The workout itself is an hour. And so the warm up, putting the vertebrae together is about like 20, 30 minutes.
Sure.
So like a solid hour and a half workout, right?
And sometimes I don't do it all at once. Like I get up and put my spine together because I'm gonna need it. And then, you know, regardless of workout or whatever. And then, you know, sometimes I'll get up and do my business and get, you know, have some stuff that I need to answer or whatever. And then I'll work out. You know what I mean? So my body's warm.
That sounds like our workout that we do.
What
workout?
Wow.
No. Like
at one point in time.
At one point in time, we were doing this workout called Shed Fat, and it like the warm up is a bitch, and it's like a 35-45 minute workout, a pre-workout. Then you've got the workout, which is another hour. So it was like, I understand where there's a pre-workout involved.
Absolutely.
You have to.
You know what I don't understand is you live in space, right?
Yeah.
And there's like no gravity. So why do you work out as a human? It seems a little bit like not realistic.
Well, there's gravity. We have gravity on the ship, you know.
Okay, I see what you did there.
Wilson, Venus the penis break.
I will say this.
Gravity.
That's Venus the penis.
I will say this. Even during the quarantine and the shelter in order. God, I can't even say shelter in place order.
Yes.
I knew that I was coming back to work, so all the gyms were closed and whatever. So I had to kind of build my own little home gym here in Toronto. So it's not it's not. I can't charge. It's not that fancy. But
I was just about to ask you want to be our trainer, because we're looking for a trainer. If you find any moments where you're not floating in space, let us know, because we can use some help.
And the diet? How's the diet? What's the diet?
So you know, I here in Toronto, because I'm working, I just do a meal plan. So I have meals delivered here, because cooking for one. I waste a lot of food. And
I mean, if you want to cook for two, I can come over.
I was about to say, if you want to cook for three, we can make it real fun.
Party for one.
I truly wish there was someone to cook for, because that would be nice. But
why go ahead and float into them DMs?
I can get to
boys. My point is, how do people date right now?
Easily. So hi, my name is
Ashley. No, ask Ashley. She's the one that's actually been like dating.
Ashley's been doing it.
Listen, I mean, I'm on Hinge right now, and I mean, you know, it's a struggle.
What? So you like meet where and do what?
I mean, I went on a date recently, and I mean, he picked me up in his car, which was nice for New York.
Did you wipe the car? Did you wipe the car down when you got into it?
I did. I mean, I had my mask on and I had my hand sanitizer, but I was just like, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
In the back seat.
It was the Uber. Okay, don't let her play. It was the Uber.
Shut up! That's not true.
I'm just saying, like, navigating.
Sure.
The dating world right now. I think I'm gonna put I'm not gonna. I think I've put a pause on it.
Of course.
This was my first date, and since the whole pandemic, since like February. So I was just like, all right. I mean, we're gonna try this out, and I mean, it was fine. I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But you can still talk to people.
I don't blame you.
Because I think right now with everything going on with the pandemic, people need human connection. So to still be able to talk to someone and to like get to know someone, and then if you feel.
But here's the thing, and you tell me if I'm crazy. If your first question, and I'm just trying to chat with you, if your first question is, what are you into? Why do you care?
No, see,
I hate that question.
Your business.
That's actually a
well. It depends on
question.
what platform you're asking that question on.
No,
that's a true question. No, raise right.
Because I'm on a platform. I'm on two platforms. One is a very Hinge, you know, it's meant for dating, and the other one is for just like hookups or whatever. But I'm the kind of person that's like, if your first thing is top or bottom, I'm like, bruh, you don't need to know that information.
But if you're on a hookup app,
and not even hold that thought, because even on Hinge, in their little bios, they slip it in,
Mhm.
I'm a bottom. Why the fuck do I need to know that?
Because
right
we want them to slip it in.
now? No.
Oh no!
I
Hey,
don't need
listen.
to know that information right off the bat. I don't need to know that because it's not what I'm looking at. That's not what I'm looking for right now.
Wilson,
Yes.
I'm so sorry that you had to
No,
listen
I
to
brought
the
it
rest
up.
of this.
It's good. Y'all need to talk
I'm
about
warning
it.
you, right? I'm warning
I
you.
brought it up. I'm
Yeah.
just
You're like, I want to know.
Hands ain't
Yeah.
shit. Growler ain't shit.
I mean,
Grinder ain't shit.
none of them are shit,
Ain't shit.
honestly.
But
But
honestly, that's what we have. That's what we have to do.
that's what we have to deal with. So it's just like either that, or I'm just gonna sit here and look at myself and look at y'all and just whatever. I don't know. I guess we'll just pop it a movie. I don't know.
Anyway, Wilson, thank you so much for taking.
I'm sorry. I've directed it off the rails.
No, I love it. I love it.
I've been meaning to talk about that because it's true.
Adam's got a lot to get off his chest. As you can tell.
I got
I
on
feel you. I feel you, boo. I feel you.
Thank you. I got on Hinge and it was just like,
We know.
this is still trash. Like,
I just think as gay men, we could probably do better in terms of how we approach each other.
Yeah.
it's 100% true because I'm also talking to this new fish who is very kind and sweet. He's not even asked me about
Adam, we could host an after show if you wanted to.
Sure.
Listen,
private podcast after hours.
Did
The
I
thing
answer?
is, it's like, what's that?
Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, it's just great conversation like we talked about. I watched Parasite for the first time last night or on Saturday, and so we were just like kikiing about that. And
Yes.
see, you know, it has nothing to do with sex.
That is
I
so
love
sweet. I'm
No,
going
it
to
is.
I'm going to take this
Did I-
moment to thank Wilson Cruz.
Did I answer all the questions?
You
No, you
answered
were
thank
no,
perfect.
you did.
and then
You were
added
short.
some
Thank
more.
you.
on my
We just
line.
went into
Yeah.
a kiki. It's
And
fine.
honestly, Wilson, thank you so much for everything you've given to the LGBTQ community. You've inspired people.
Yes.
You continue to do so. And I cannot wait to continue watching new episodes of Star Trek Discovery.
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
thank you.
thank you for having me. You're very, very sweet. I love my people, so that means I love you. And
Yes.
thank you for supporting me and for loving me. I love you right back.
I got some friends who are
Absolutely.
gonna be real mad that Ricky Vasquez just told me he loved me. So I'm gonna get all over the internet with this. So get ready.
Fly, boo, fly.
I just need you to retweet it and say you agree, so that way that they can believe me. Otherwise, I'm gonna look real stupid. So.
And for our listeners out there, you can check out Wilson Cruz on Star Trek Discovery
Yes.
on CBS Access, All Access,
All
every
Access.
Thursday. You know, I got a subscription. I be watching it all the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to. 'cause
He got
Parks
the
and Rec's
subscription
on
from
there.
us.
No, that's not true. I pay for it myself.
Oh.
I do.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you, Wilson. It has been so much fun.
Thank
So
you
much
so
fun.
much.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.